Cointelegraph, a big crypto news publication in the US, came out with a tweet essentially saying that BlackRock's spot ETF had been approved by the SEC overnight, sending the market into an absolute frenzy. I got a notification from like CoinMarketCap, the app. It seemed like the fake news spread like wildfire, only for it to be debunked.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of the Crypto Catchup. I'm Pav, and with me, Mr. Ted.
Hey Pav, how's it going?
Good, mate, good. Are you pretty happy?
Mate,
A lot of headwind.
I came to work this morning and Pav was like, "Did you see the news?" I'm like, "What news?" And he's like, "Bitcoin spot ETF's been approved." I'm like, "What?" And it turns out, false alarm.
Yeah,
False alarm.
classic interns, right?
Oh mate, let's dive straight into it because it's been a pretty eventful
No, I want to... there's also more good news. Don't just rush it away from the good news.
Okay.
The Aussies won as well in the World Cup.
Cricket, that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, mate. Because we didn't win rugby.
No, it didn't win rugby.
No. Okay. So we're following the cricket now. That's good.
Yeah.
Mate, I know but you're an India supporter. You can't be celebrating.
Oh, we've got to go for both, two teams.
Yeah, I suppose you do have that.
Love to sit on a fence.
Yeah, you do. You do.
It's good watching.
Love that, mate.
But yeah, okay, fine. Let's talk about the ETF. Obviously, that's what you want to talk about.
I'm dying to get into it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, for anyone that doesn't know the news, by the time this comes out, you'll probably be all aware of it. But basically, Cointelegraph, a big crypto news publication in the US, came out with a tweet essentially saying that BlackRock's spot ETF had been approved by the SEC overnight, sending the market into an absolute frenzy. I got a notification from like CoinMarketCap, the app. And basically, they must have seen them and just jumped on it straight away. Yeah. So yeah, it seemed like the fake news spread like wildfire, only for it to be debunked.
Yeah, it was actually amazing to just show how quickly information or misinformation can travel. Because on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it, it was everywhere, and everyone was just quickly rolling back their comments saying, "Apologies, this was our source; it was their fault." And so, I mean,
Christ.
It's wild, isn't it?
It is the Wild West out there. Like crazy that one tweet from one person, everyone's calling them the Cointelegraph intern, can have that much impact on...
We've got some images of the Cointelegraph intern right now.
Yeah, so this is for people watching the YouTube video, like Cointelegraph intern just collecting piles of cash and stashing them in a black paper bag.
Well, it's a garbage bag.
A garbage bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was absolutely loving the memes this morning.
Some good ones.
Yeah, I was meant to prepare, but I was too busy watching the memes. We've got another meme here, the Cointelegraph intern being Gary Gensler. Yep. Trying to move the markets, trying to pump his bags. Good old Gary G.
Bloody Gary. But man, it's crazy, right? Like the only thing I can think of, even though that this is, like, who knows where the market goes from here, right? Like there's still a lot to be seen if this is a bullish move or if it's simply a massive sell-off that's occurred just at some nice premium. So a lot of people that bought down below, it's a good reason to sell. It's 10% up, right?
Yeah.
So irregardless, I mean, it kind of sets the stage, I think, for like if we do see the real ETF actually come to fruition, what's capable, what the market is capable of doing.
Well, it just shows like one tweet, despite all the macroeconomic conditions not being like super favorable right now, one tweet about a spot ETF approval can just send the markets into a frenzy. Imagine what happens when like it actually gets approved. It's proven that it's real this time. And it's not just BlackRock; it's all the other ETF applications.
Correct,
mate. It's exciting. Like if there's one good thing to pull out of this, apart from you pumping your bags, it's the markets will react to that positive news when it does come. Yeah, if it comes.
Cool. Do you think like this is a good tweet that I ran across today from Donald at Crypto Donald. Do you think now that everyone's seen what the market's capable of an ETF approval? I mean, it's kind of signed, sealed, delivered to a large degree. Like the SEC most recently not going to pursue Grayscale any further after the recent mandate that they had. That was last week.
Yep.
Market didn't really bounce too hard off of that news, basically saying that the SEC is not going to pursue Grayscale any further in converting their current product to a spot product.
Well, yeah, because the judge determined that Grayscale, or it was in favor of Grayscale in their court case against the SEC. The SEC had the chance to appeal that. They didn't. Yep. And so it kind of just shows that they're conceding defeat in that front.
Yep.
Doesn't mean the Grayscale ETF is being converted to a spot anytime soon. They still need to go through the regular approval process, but that the SEC can't use, that reasoning that they were initially using against them, because that's been ruled out by the courts.
Yeah. So do you think it's possible that now market punters will see what, again, like we just talked about, like what's actually capable, and what we start to price in as some sort of premium as to, okay, now we know it's probably happening. We saw what happens when even a rumor sparks. I'm going to get some because I don't want to be left behind. Do you think we just see things potentially grind and hold steady?
Mate, your guess is as good as mine. I think it just shows you that, like, this news in particular is massive for like the markets in particular, and a spot ETF is going to be massive next year if it gets approved. Like, I don't really have any predictions in terms of price and where we could go, but like it's just a little indicator that this news will be very impactful when it does come. What do you think?
Very diplomatic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
political answer.
I think a lot of people, like the one thing that we've seen time and time again is people have FOMO. So, I mean, let's just say economic conditions don't get any better, but they don't get significantly worse. I think there's a real chance that you could start to price in some sort of pre-ETF premium. That's just my take. I think it's definitely a possible outcome, and it's also one that most people may not anticipate. Like, everyone might just be like, oh, now I need to just wait for the dip, but the dip may not come. I don't know. That's kind of feels like it's definitely a scenario. Or alternately, we just fall apart here. I think the next few days will be key. I think if we start to see support not hold, and I know like on our Bitcoin chart here that we've been tracking for a little while, like we hit nicely into the previous highs and seem to have like a very strong reaction there just to sell off. So logical place for a lot of people to probably look to take off profit, and massive news catalyst behind it, which was just that fake news. If we start to track below this key level that we bounced off of nicely in the start of October, then we might see some lower prices. Also worsening conditions with the war, that's never good.
No.
Any sort of destabilization in the US economy, that's always bad too. Like we saw the banks get bailed out start of this year. If there's some sort of similar themed tune like that, might cause us to dip. But I mean, I just don't mind the idea of, imagine if, everyone just is like, I got to get my little bit, otherwise I might miss out. Like, it's definitely a reality now, I feel.
Yeah, exactly. And the rest of the market seems to have reacted a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Ethereum, not so much, which is interesting. I think there's like, for the first time in a while, there's a bit of like a negative connotation around Ethereum at the moment. I'm not sure.
You know that me.
Get some more. Yeah. But it's interesting. Like, I know there's an Ethereum short ETF that's meant to start trading soon. Like, and in that case, they're not going to start listing a short ETF unless they know it's going to be successful. So it just shows there's an appetite for people to short Ethereum. I don't know. Like we saw some news the other day that some ETH whales were dropping off. Like you wrote a bit of an article about that, didn't you?
Yeah, that was an interesting one. I think the problem with that data specifically is there's so many different ways to cut it, and you can kind of make it tell the story that you want it to tell, which is most data, to be honest. But I think the main takeaway from that was while there was assets being transferred around from historical whale wallets, it was just essentially the supply being held by the top 1% wasn't really changing. It was just simply being transferred into like smart contracts. So whether they're doing things like obviously staking their ETH, or they're offering it up to liquid staking protocols like Lido DAO, which we've covered in the past, Rocket Pool. There's a whole bunch of different scenarios, I guess. But I mean, the one other thing that was in that article was the fact that ETH, since the proof of stake protocol got implemented, it's been deflationary. So there's actually been less and less ETH over time. But now it's finally inflationary. So it's back on the rise. So the key takeaway there, without complicating this too much, is if the network's got lots and lots of transactions, it becomes deflationary. There's actually more ETH that gets burnt as a part of the way that smart contract executes. As part of the gas fee, some of that gets cut and burnt. So that's how that becomes deflationary. And then in an instance where the amount being issued to people as rewards for staking the asset is greater than what's being burnt as a result of there being less transactions, it becomes inflationary. So it's kind of like being designed to be like a self-governing little, economy, I guess, for the ETH supply.
So deflationary good, inflationary bad.
Yeah, they kind of just, I guess, tell the sentiment of what's going on in the market. So when it's inflationary, there's less transactions happening. When it's deflationary, it's busy and there's more demand. So
it just shows you that because it's inflationary now, there's a bit of there's a lack of activity, I guess.
Which is what would make sense right now, right?
Yeah,
Like,
but it doesn't mean like it's going to be inflationary forever. Like it could easily switch, in the next couple of weeks.
unless everyone moves to a new layer 1 blockchain as being the mainstay, which I don't see really happening. Yeah, well, let's see it happen. Or the other alternatives too, like layer 2's a hit coming in to stay. Like, could that potentially affect the rate at which ETH transactions occur overall as well? So, I mean, there's a lot to be seen there first to believe it. So, I think it's safe to say it'll just go through. I guess long term, what the project is hoping is over as time goes on, it's just ebbs and flows between inflationary and deflationary. It kind of self-governs and stabilizes and sets itself up. But we'll see if that happens.
Yep, cool. Let's dive into some of these top movers that we've seen over the last week. What's at the top there? Bitcoin SV?
Yep, haven't heard too much from those guys as to what could have pushed that one. So if anyone else knows, definitely let us know.
Yeah, I mean, I know Loom's not in that list there, but it has been like kind of pumping over the last week or so. Do you have any reason for that, Pav?
We were talking about this earlier. It'd be hilarious if it was the case of, there was nothing. I checked all their socials. There's nothing as a new news catalyst as to why. So it could be two things. It could simply just be there's a market maker out there or market participants just driving price up. Or number two, hey, why not? Let's just speculate. Atlassian, massive giant in the I guess non-crypto worlds, acquired a unicorn Loom for a whopping $975 million. So whether or not someone thought that was somehow linked to a crypto coin, maybe. I don't know, bit of a stretch. I don't think
What
so.
is unicorn Loom?
Well, unicorn, the fact that it was $1 billion company.
Okay, yeah, okay, gotcha.
But Loom is just like that recording, screen sharing software.
I've used it before, yeah.
So,
yeah.
I don't know, just a little bit of speculation.
That's pretty funny. I guess what else is on there? SafePal and Clayton.
Yeah,
Clayton
I haven't read too much about this one, but I mean, that could be a reason for Clayton having a bit of a price rise, a bit of an adoption play. SafePal, pretty big name stay. So
we've seen it before when two crypto projects team up. Like their prices usually have a little bit of a rally, and I think we're just seeing that here. I think looks like the news here is they've teamed up to deliver some hardware wallets, some co-branded hardware wallets. So, yeah, a bit of an interesting one there. Good to see that they're supporting each other in that sense.
Yeah. What we want to see. That's what you see in a bear market specifically, but who knows how successful that'll be long term. One to watch, I guess.
Yeah.
But there's a bit happening too, I guess, in the regulatory space in Australia outside of top movers. What can you tell us about that, Ted?
Yeah, so we had some big news yesterday. Essentially, Treasurer Jim Chalmers came out and basically has told us that they're proposing a crypto bill to basically shake up the crypto industry and more heavily regulate it. I guess this comes off the back of, all the stuff that happened with FTX last year. Yeah. Like regulators are terrified of something similar happening. I guess in one sense, they see the crypto industry as under-regulated, and it means players like, bad actors, like we saw with SBF, can kind of take advantage of that. And so, yeah, they're terrified of that. And so they've basically come out and said, or proposed a bill where crypto exchanges in particular will be, regulated under the same jurisdictions as all financial service companies in Australia. So that comes under ASIC. So when you think about it, think about all the banks, all the lenders, anything that's involving finance, they are regulated by ASIC, and that's what they're proposing for crypto exchanges as well. What are your thoughts on this?
It's good. I think it's something we've talked about, I guess, being in the industry for quite a while. We needed something to unify all of the players and stop any bad actors coming in from, especially overseas again, because that's where we're seeing them from. I think it's a good approach too, in the sense that it's pragmatic to the point of going after the providers first and worrying about the actual tokens and, what should or shouldn't be, how should a crypto be handled. There's a whole thing about how in the US they're going about it as, is it a security, is it not a security? So far that's not been the discussion, which I've been quite happy about. I think if it means it's more transparent for Aussie consumers, there's more safety in knowing who you're dealing with, I mean, that's only good, and it's something I know we've been advocating for here as well at SwiftX. So I think it's good. Yeah. Yourself? Indifferent?
A bit indifferent about it. I guess we haven't really seen, it's not come into play yet. It's just the proposed bill.
All right, well, maybe this one will be more your speed, Ted.
Yeah, this is definitely more my speed. So Ferrari basically come out and said that they're going to accept crypto payments for their cars. I know, Pav, you've been dying to buy a Ferrari, and you have so much crypto in your account. So, mate, this is a match made in heaven for you.
Mate, once I finish paying for the diapers, maybe I can think about this. It's not really on the radar, so...
Yeah, I mean, everyone talks about the, Lamborghini when Lambo.
Oh, it's kind of it's kind of like the ultimate crypto bro meme. It's like,
yeah, well, maybe
when Lambo.
Maybe next bull cycle will be when Ferrari.
Yeah, when Rari.
It doesn't have the same ring to it, but
no.
It's just another one of those adoption stories in a bear market. That's good to see.
Yeah, totally. I think it wasn't it Tesla that did it as well, like last cycle, but they pulled it off the shelves.
Yeah, you could buy Tesla with Bitcoin. I'm pretty sure you can still buy like Tesla merch with Dogecoin.
Okay.
Of course, but like, I don't know, how often are people buying Tesla merch?
Oh, I wouldn't mind some.
I'm sure there's some Tesla fanatics out there.
Yeah, why not? What else have we got on in the news? Okay, this is a bit of a left field one that I've just been doing a bit of looking into in my spare time because I'm such an interesting person. We all know the US election cycle's coming up pretty much at the end of this year. It sort of kicks off. And like we spoke about in the potty before, how that kind of has had some effect on, I guess, general market seasonality as well. And I actually found some data behind it too, so that's good as well. But what we've got here is essentially the effect of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which is like almost like an aggregated index in the US, similar to your S&P, NASDAQs, but different basket of goods. Mm-hmm. It's tracking basically the returns versus what year are we in the 4-year presidential cycles. So, I mean, what was probably most interesting for me here is the fact that in the pre-election year, which we're in currently, I've done a bit of wizardry here and I've mapped it against Bitcoin. It's kind of been following it pretty well, to be honest. So we can see when the September, October September sell-off came, that everyone was sort of speculating. Bitcoin definitely had a massive sell-off as well. But historically, the reversals have shown in the last 20 years, I believe this is 20 years worth of data, averaging it out. In a pre-election year, you tend to see a bit of a reversal through October and November and a rally into December. So not to say that's going to be what we see in the crypto markets or the broader markets, but something to keep an eye on. I think everyone's right now is really confused about where we are in the general state of things.
Yep.
I think this year is a bit hard to really tie it back to any sort of mean average because we've had so many outliers. Like we had the COVID issue, we've had like interest rate hikes, we've had the war in Gaza. But I mean, this is multiple years worth of data, so at least it sort of averages out a lot of noise. So take of it what you will. So far, it's been tracking along with it pretty closely. There's been some points where it shows a lot of confluence. So all in all, if this is going to continue tracking, it basically suggests that, we could be sideways till November and then start to track up November into December to finish up the year, which would be nice.
Interesting. And then, so is that blue line shows
the pre-election year performance, and the orange is the average performance without any sort of reference to where we are in the election years, and then the black line's Bitcoin's price.
Gotcha.
What do you reckon, Ted?
So what you're saying is get in now.
I didn't say that. I think what I am trying to say is just be watching the markets for the next 1 to 2 months, or at least 1.5 months. Give it 1.5 months, and if you're bored, let go. But now's the time to really be paying attention, especially when we're seeing the worst of the worst really play out across the world as well. Like, unless tensions really escalate and things get out of control, it kind of feels like everyone's looking for how long until there's a resolution to whatever's currently an issue, as opposed to anything else. So we all know, risk on markets hate it when there's uncertainty. So as soon as there's some sort of uncertainty that starts to build, that's when things do start to look a little bit more stable. Yeah. And with less interns controlling social media accounts, that'll help too.
Although we love the memes.
Yeah, we do love the memes.
Yeah.
We do love the memes. Mate, it's been a short episode, even though there's been quite a bit happening. But I think I'm excited for next week's episode to see if this rally holds.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I hate to say it, but I think we're probably going to track down. After what we've seen, like with the fake news being debunked, I think essentially it's just like we're going down a bit further, back to probably where we were around 26K. I know you're probably more of a TA man than me.
Yeah,
but
we didn't really look at it this episode, did we? So let's take a look. So, I mean, if we do look at it just in terms of highs and lows, I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me that we do come back down to 26, and that's when you start to see, do the bulls want to keep it there, or are people like, no, we took our profits, we had a nice little run to these August highs, let's let price settle a little bit more. I think there's a lot of people that might have a bunch of stops under the June low, which is that 24 and a half mark.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do know about the markets is they love to find stops. It was last night in that run, it was like, I think 136 mil in shorts got wiped off the market, which is, I think top 5 sort of liquidation event for the year. So, and that was like in 6 minutes. So we know the market loves to go to these areas where liquidity is resting. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we track down to 24 and a half, somewhere around there. But at the same time, if we do hold, you want to see it hold at 27. I would say 27K be your line in the sand if you wanted to stay as a bull. So be interesting to see.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I mean, personally, I'm looking more long term.
Yep.
Like, I'm not really much of a trader like you, Pav. I'm looking forward to the next cycle, anticipating that there will be some sort of a bull run next year. Not guaranteed to happen, of course, with, the current climate and everything going on with interest rates and inflation in the US, but everything's kind of leading into that, that second quarter of the year.
Yep.
ETF, halving, election year, like it's all adding up. Hopefully things improve on the macro climate and we get a bit more bullish sentiment and more adoption stories like the Ferrari thing coming out. And hopefully that's enough catalyst for the big bad bulls to come out.
And we all just want a little bit of good news leading into family time at Christmas time, because I don't want to be approaching that. We always talk about it. I don't want to be approaching that Christmas barbecue with people going, "Oh, how's that crypto going?"
Yeah, I know. We need a good story, don't we? The SBF trial at the moment and all the stuff that's coming out about him ain't helping us.
How gross is that?
It's pretty
cringe. If you haven't checked it out, definitely just jump on Twitter or even just search like some of the things that have been said during that proceeding. It's just ridiculous that's how business is.
The most recent development is he needs more like Adderall to stay focused in court.
Oh, wow.
I think they're trying to paint him out to be like, this clumsy, just really smart tech guy, but doesn't really have any focus or anything. Yeah, doesn't really know what he's doing, so he gets off with a lighter sentence.
Okay.
But don't believe it. We all know he's a scammer and a fraud, so yeah. But it's a massive case in the US, probably one of the biggest fraud cases of this century. So yeah, it's an interesting one to follow. So go check it out. But yeah.
Change of pace. One thing we want to shout out is the Australian Crypto Convention. Most people would know that, hopefully most people know that that's only 4 weeks away now. So if you're keen on getting tickets, jump on, get them now while you can. Mm-hmm. Melbourne, it's going to be a blast. We were there last year. We'll be there again this year. So you can come say g'day to us if you really want to.
Yeah, we'll actually have our own little stand this year, won't we? With a proper setup. Like we were on the beanbags last year, which was cool. It was a fun, casual vibe.
Hard to want to get up, but it was good.
Yeah, but we've got our own couch this time. We've got our own, back like billboard and things. We're big timers this year, Pav.
It's gonna be good. I think we've got water bottles too.
You're kidding.
I'm kidding. I'm not kidding.
So yeah, if you're down there, come say g'day and maybe you can jump on the couch and have a chat with us if you're interested, of course. Because we're literally keen to chat with anyone, whether you're in the industry or just a keen trader or keen to get more involved in crypto. Like we're keen to have a chat. So please approach us.
This time in the market too, I think you only have the people that really got the gusto to be in crypto. So it's going to be, I think, some good chats had.
Yeah, I'm keen to kind of assess like the general, the average person that is there, whether they're like currently involved in the industry or whether they're, just interested in learning more. So it'll be interesting to assess compared to last year.
Yeah, and I think even just talking to a lot of those projects too, like I think you're going to find just the real builders are there. Because again, like these are the toughest conditions to be building in. Yeah. So, I mean, you got guys with a bunch of conviction, guys and gals.
I guarantee you, if you come this year, you're going to be more easily able to have conversations with some of the big players in the industry than you will, say, next year if the crypto convention's on again.
Yep. Well said, mate.
Cool. Let's wrap it up.
That's a wrap.
Thanks, mate. We'll catch you guys next week.
Catch ya.